Hello, and welcome to this installment of My Five Questions. I'm your host, Rob Armstrong, and today's guest is my good friend and brother from another mother, Vincent Kustush. Vince, thanks for being here. Good to see you.
Rob, nice to see you, man. Glad you're finally doing this, by the way. Thanks for having me on.
So, Vince, before we discuss the writer in you, could you give us a quick background? Where did you grow up, and how did you find yourself at the Art Institute of Fort Lauderdale?
I grew up in a town called Downers Grove. It's outside of Chicago, about 20 minutes. Great place to grow up. After I put my initial time in LA, moved back here, started a family. Now my youngest has the LA bug, so we're probably not much long for Chicago at this point anymore. Plus the winters are getting a little bit too tough. You know what I mean? At our age. How did I find myself? The Art Institute of Fort Lauderdale. Um, I was in a band, and my guitar player was moving out there, and he basically, if you want the band to continue, blah. So, wound up going to Art Institute and studying the music and video business, which is television and audio engineering. And he wound up flunking out 2 months later, climbed inside a beer bottle, and he disappeared. So, but no, I continued on, and as you know, we were college roommates, and up until graduation.
Once you graduated the Art Institute of Fort Lauderdale, how did you find yourself in California? Can you tell us a bit about that journey and the people that you worked with?
How did I find myself in LA? College roommate Brian, as you know, he moved out there. His cousin was executive producer of Wonder Years, and he said he might be able to get me a job, but I had to be out there. So I quit my job, packed my car up. I had $500 in my pocket and drove cross country and didn't get the job. But I wound up on the Oscars, and then became a special effects guy through happenstance, and there you have it.
So, of all the projects that you've ever worked on, which one sticks out the most and which one is your favorite?
What was the favorite project I worked on? Hmm. Okay, I'd worked 40 days straight or something like 42 days straight. It was like 16 to 18-hour days, long days, no days off. And this guy I used to help out when he was always in a jam, he'd call me, and I guess I'm the guy to call. I guess it's good. And he said, "Hey, I've got this opportunity for you." I'm like, "Oh man, I just worked like 40 some days straight in a row. Da, da, da. I'm tired." He goes, "It's Johnny Cash." And I said, "Oh, you don't even have to pay me. What time do I show up?" So that was the coolest one, and that was the American recordings. I mean, like four of his music videos. It was the first time he played by himself at the Viper Room with no backup band in like 30 years, and the first time he'd done a lot of those Sun session recording songs since then. So all this stuff was brand new, and it was an honor to be there. And Johnny Cash, the ultimate showman, and a total gentleman.
Now that you're back in Chicago, tell us how you ended up back there and a little bit about the books that you're working on.
The books I'm working on now, um, it's part of the Reboot universe. So I have Reboot Jesus, and that's just basically at editing phase at this point. Uh, then after that one, we have Prophets of Chevelle, and that I'm about a third of the way through, and the follow-up to that book is the next one in the Reboot series, and that's Reboot a Hippie Chick. So that's basically what will be coming out in the next year, year and a half or so.
Sounds like you're quite the busy bee. I hope everything works out for you. It appears that you enjoy having a full plate. Can you tell us a little bit more about the projects that you might have in the back of your mind that you really haven't laid pen to paper yet?
Yeah, I like the full plate. It keeps me busy. When you're writing, you're just not writing one thing. You're writing your main project, and then when you get bored of that, you want to not bored of that, but when maybe you get stuck or you're coming to a slowdown, you hop over to something else that's totally different. So that gives your brain a different boost. Start writing that, and then you could be outlining something that never happens or something that you would like to do, or in my case, I wound up writing two other books that were nonfiction while writing my fiction book, which was kind of funny. So yeah, weird things happen when you're writing. But research, I'm always researching, and people are like, "Hey Vince, what are you doing?" Da da da. V. Oh, sorry, I was writing. If you see me spacing out, I'm not spacing out. I'm writing something. So that's that.
Vince, thank you so much for your time. It's been great talking with you.
All right, Rob, thanks a lot, man. I appreciate it, and I hope to be back on this podcast soon enough. And good luck to you. And everyone, click subscribe and check out this video.
And that wraps up this edition of My 5 Questions. I'm your host, Rob Armstrong. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time, take care.